What is up, everybody? You're very welcome along to Monday night's late night agenda. I know a lot of you guys are probably watching the Leeds-Leicester game right now, but you never know, you might watch this back later on. I hope that you do. There's loads for us to get through tonight, ladies and gents. We're going to talk about the Gaffer's pre-match press conference ahead of the Atalanta game. We're going to talk about some transfer news and gossip. We're going to have a little chat around Mr. Tony Cascarino's comments surrounding Mohamed Salah as well, and a few other bits and pieces along the way. But look, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I hope that you're in fine fettle wherever in the world that you are. It's lovely for you all to come in and join us. I see a couple of people in the chat asking about Flick. I'll deal with that a little bit later on. There is an explanation for it. The short end of that really is that we're not going to be on Flick anymore, but I will tell you why. I'll tell you why moving forward. Hello to everyone. I can see a load of people starting to come into the chat now as we go live. I really appreciate you guys giving up your time, and we'll have a little chit chat for a moment or two, shall we, while more people come into the chat. So let's go in and see who we've got. Cube is saying Leicester 2, Leeds 0. I was watching it, mate, before I started the stream, and very bright start from Leicester in that game. Leeds unrecognisable almost from the team that had started the season. They seem a little bit disjointed tonight. Maybe it's the weather, I don't know. Hi Craig, how are you doing? To Danny Dog. I'm good, thank you, Danny Dog. I'm really good, thank you, mate. I've been a really busy day today, but hopefully a productive day as well. Hopefully Thiago back from Man City, said Curry. He is back doing some training, mate, albeit very light training. But again, I will go through that in a moment or two as well when some people come in and we start filling up the chat a little bit. Larry Leach is in the house, all the way from Calgary in Canada. How are you, Larry? Lovely to see you in. Hello, Jeff, as well. Welcome. Hope you're having a good evening, Scary Ninja. I'm good, mate. It's always good when I'm in here with you glorious people. Right, let's start off today. The Gaffer has confirmed in his press conference that Naby Keita and Joe Matip have both returned to full training. And the media have reported that Costa Simicas was also out there training. But the bad news comes in the form that Thiago wasn't training with the main group, or at least wasn't doing full training, and is a doubt for tomorrow night's game. Now, the Gaffer hasn't gone as far as ruling anybody out yet. He said a lot of people will travel, and there will be some late decisions on that one. So certainly worth keeping an eye on. As I said, I do have my predicted starting 11 and score predictions ready to go a little bit later on as well. Reading the chat before I went live, I think a lot of people are in the same mindset as me. Again, if there's any doubts around Thiago, keep him. Make sure that he's available for the Manchester City game, because that's the game for me that I think we're really going to need him. And again, I'll go through my predicted 11 later on, and it'll make sense to you why I'm saying what I'm saying. But again, as with all these players, if there's any doubt, err on the side of caution, because there's a long season ahead. As frustrating as it can be for us fans at times when we want to see Thiago out there. We're all dying to see Thiago out there doing bits for Liverpool, but make sure that he's fit and available after that tackle from Richarlison that had a bit of swelling on his knee. What else we got? Brian Morris is in the house. How are you? Evan's in the house as well. Jack's Place is in the house. No need for Thiago tomorrow, said Neil Davies. I kind of feel the same way, mate. And this is going to sound really strange. Like, we've got a good start to the Champions League. 6 points out of 6. A difficult game coming up away in Italy against Atalanta. But it's not the worst thing in the world if we get a point away from home, or a scrape a 1-0 win, or a bit of a disjointed performance. I don't really care, as long as we get the result. And if we get anything from an away game in Italy there, then you've got home games coming up as well against Ajax, and then we've got a game against Midfield. So you'd be expecting to get on top of that group there. But and a home game, of course, against Atalanta as well coming up in the next round of fixtures. It's back-to-back games against Atalanta. So look, I want us to win tomorrow. Of course I do. But, you know, bigger fish to fry for me at the weekend. I think we'll navigate our way through the group stage fairly easily. And I think that'll be in the Gaffer's thoughts as well. Although, of course, he'll always be respectful to any opponents. Like I said, when we played Midfield, anyone that makes their way to a Champions League group stage deserves that utmost respect. Loads of people coming in as well. Hi Craig, watching from South Africa, said Jordan Phillips. Lovely to have you with us, Jordan. Really appreciate that, mate. Please do keep us up to date, by the way, with what's going on in that Leeds game. If you are in the live chat, I can't watch it, obviously, because I'm here with you guys and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. Right, ladies and gentlemen, where do you want to go? Do you want to have a little chat around Tony Cascarino first, or do you want to go and add straight into the transfer gossip? So let me know. Looking dapper today, said Harry Price. It's just an Adidas polo shirt, mate. It's genuinely nothing spectacular, but whenever I wear it, people think I'm after being out working or at a job interview or something. That's just a polo, mate. I would take a draw to Bobby Ferguson. Tony, transfer gossip, Tony, Cascarino, Tony. Let's go with Tony Cascarino then, shall we? Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, let me just get my notes up on this one. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a story that's gone out. I believe it's in the Times newspaper. And the headline, or the gist of the story, is that Tony Cascarino has said Mohamed Salah's dive was an insult to Nobby Styles and the game that he loved. Now, there's a couple of ways to approach this. I don't know Mr. Cascarino personally, and it's not my job to come in here and go in two-footed to somebody. But that, to me, screams everything that is wrong with the level of punditry that we're currently getting right now with the old stock. Tony Cascarino, look, who is he to be casting shade on anybody? I mean, his credentials to play for my beautiful country were, let's just say, stretched at best. But let's keep it on this. Tony Cascarino saying that Nobby Stiles would... It's an insult to Nobby Stiles, excuse me. Let's first of all get with the start of this. It was not a dive, Cascarino. His foot was kicked. So many times Mohamed Salah has not gone to ground and will get nothing for it. This time his foot was kicked, like numerous other incidents that you're going to see week in and week out in the Premier League. Incidents that referees have given penalties for. This was given. Now, to bring up somebody who sadly passed away and drag them into this argument is nothing short of disgusting. As far as I'm concerned, I have no allegiance to Nobby Stiles. Obviously, I'm from Ireland, but I respect the man. I respect the man's history, what he's won in the sport, winning the World Cup with England, and may he rest in peace. To drag that man into the conversation is disgusting. But that's before we even get to what I think, and this is just my opinion, are the real undertones of this conversation. And it's about Johnny foreigners, to use a better phrase, or for want of a better phrase. Harry Kane did what Harry Kane did in this game yesterday. He backed into Adam Lallana, and that's clever, apparently. That's gamesmanship because it's Sir Harold of Tottenham. But when Johnny Foreigner goes and does anything, heaven forbid, we all know that there's a little bit of xenophobia in those comments. We all know that there's a little bit of racial bias in there, whether intended or whether subconscious. The facts are that it is disgusting, that the Times should have pulled the article, and that Tony Cascarino should hang his head in shame. And I'm not just saying this because it's Mo Salah. I'm sure if this was a player, if this was Cavani, you'd see it on another channel, or if it was a Leicester player, you'd see it on a Leicester channel. This is nothing short of disgusting from somebody who... Let's be honest about it. My 8-year-old, probably has more common sense to speak about the sport than Cascarino. You're a shy player, mate. You're a shy pundit. And to drag up that level of disrespect towards somebody who has sadly passed, and to throw that much shade on Mohamed Salah, who's done what every other player has done to gain penalties when they've got a kick on their foot this season, and then he says that it was... I cannot tell you how much this stuff annoys me, ladies and gentlemen, because we all know that there's two different arguments in the media. Harry Kane does something, or an English-based player does something. It's clever. It's gamesmanship. He's won a penalty there. If a foreign player does it, a lot of the time the feeling's a little bit different, isn't it? If we're honest with ourselves, the feeling out there in some of the media is a little bit different. That, oh, he gained an advantage. He cheated his way there. He dove there. This needs to stop. We need to nip this in the bud right now. Mohamed Salah is one of the most respectful, loyal, responsible human beings on the face of the planet. And to have that thrown at him by somebody who is not fit to lace the man's boots is disgusting. I'm ashamed of somebody who's represented my country. I'm ashamed at those comments. I'm ashamed that Mohamed Salah has to deal with this crap from what was a blatant penalty when week in and week out we see him stay on his feet when he's been tugged and kicked. I'm ashamed, ladies and gentlemen. I really am. I was hoping, in a time where we're fighting for equality in sport and in society, these level of comments that Mr. Cascarino has put out there are it's just unacceptable. They're off a different age where they weren't acceptable before, but they certainly aren't acceptable in today's day and age. Mr. Cascarino would want to put out a severe apology about this, as would the Times or whoever published this article, because it's nothing short of disrespectful to both Nobby Stiles and Nobby Stiles' family, and of course Mohamed Salah as well. Absolute... I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm going to bite my tongue at that, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't want to be the old ranting and raving Craig. I've had my say on it. You can read it yourselves. You can form your own opinions. That's what I love about this. We are here for a conversation around differing opinions, but that to me doesn't belong in the game anymore. That's dinosaur stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's the stuff that should get people fired in this day and age. I've said a lot of stupid stuff, and I'll probably continue to say a lot of stupid stuff. But to start dragging in, I said racial undertones. Now, I'm not accusing Tony Cascarino of being racist. Let me make that very clear. Sometimes this is a subconscious bias. He may not even have realised what he was saying. He may not even realise the differential between, Johnny Foreigner coming in and doing this and an English player doing it, and Match of the Day and the likes coming out and saying, oh, clever. Let's look at the incident with Adam Lallana and Harry Kane, shall we? Only one of those players had eyes for the football. Only one. and that was Adam Lallana. Adam Lallana jumped up into the air, and as he was doing so, Sir Harold of Tottenham looks over his shoulder, backs into him, as he's done before, by the way, and gets himself a penalty and is lauded for it in the media when it was nothing but blatant cheating. You know it, and I know it, but that's okay. It's gamesmanship, it's cheating. He gets away with it. Why does he get away with it? Because he's English. That's why he gets away with it. Now, to be fair, a lot of other clubs' fans are coming out and calling Harry Kane out for that, because it was a joke. It should have been a free out, in my opinion, rather than a penalty kick. Look, let me get over to you guys and see how you're feeling about this, because I could continue ranting about this type of stuff for a very long time, but you know what? I want to be in a good mood. I want to be happy. What have we got? Kate is next, and yes, I said Tony seems like a right. Never heard of the bloke before. He represented Ireland, mate. He played, I think, for Marseille. He played for a couple of lower league clubs. I think he played for, I don't know, Wigan or some Aston Villa. I can't remember what clubs. That's how irrelevant he was. And the fact that he's still being given a platform to voice his irrelevant opinions baffles me. What else have we got? Every player will dive, but Salah did not dive in that game, said Evan. Absolutely not, mate. He had the bottom of his foot kicked as clear as day, and I don't know what any of the argument is about. It was a blatant penalty. I just don't see it. I just don't understand what this argument is about with regards to that penalty incident. Even the manager, Mohamed Salah, have had a conversation around it, apparently. Brian said that's the classic Kane manoeuvre. John O'Neill said, hi Craig, how are you today? I'm very good, thank you, John. All the better for seeing you in, my friend. I hope you're well. Is Johnny Foreigner our new centre back? No, mate, not quite yet. We're in negotiations, but not quite yet. What Kane did is illegal in rugby, said Tyler. Yes, it is, mate, because if a player's going up into the air to get the ball, he basically took his legs out from underneath him, and Adam Lallana fell landing on his back and shoulders, which could have caused him serious injury. But no, what happens? El Kano gets himself a penalty. Of course he does. Thiago will destroy Kevin De Bruyne. We'll get to all that, mate. You're obsessed with people destroying people, aren't you? I was reading your comments before the stream, ex-Ruthless, and you were saying we don't want this Ajax player because Mane destroyed him. We don't want the Leipzig player because Rashford destroyed him. Oh, I hate to break the news to you, pal, but people have bad games every now and again. It doesn't make them a bad defender. Just because it's the first time you've seen these lads play doesn't mean that they're terrible defenders, mate. They're young defenders making their way into sport. They'll all have poor games from time to time, particularly when they're up against really good players like Rashford and Sadio Mane. So I don't like that we're just calling players terrible, saying they were ended, saying their careers were thrown away just because one lad went past them. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You need to just get your shit together, mate, honestly. Can't tackle someone in the air, huge chance of serious injury, said Brian. Absolutely. At this rate, we'll have to put Mr. Tumble at the back. No, the good news is we are getting Joe Matip back. I mean, he could be available for the game tomorrow. I'll go through my predicted 11 now in a second, folks. And look, bit of a surprise. I haven't got in my predicted 11. I think, again, much like Thiago, if there's any doubt about him, save him for the Manchester City game. I think that's where he'll be leaded. I'll go through the predicted 11 now in a second as well. Thiago update. He is back doing light training, I believe, mate. I don't think he was with the rest of the group. And I would be very surprised if he starts tomorrow. Although, again, when I go through my predicted 11 in more detail, I'll talk about that. I did also say that we'll talk about the Flick Chat group as well. We've pulled the Anfield Agenda Flick Chat group, and the reasons for that should become apparent to you guys in the coming days. I can't really say much more, but there could be a game changer on the way for Anfield Agenda with regards to a partnership, and we're in negotiations at the minute, so keep your fingers crossed for us. But part of this, I have to pull the Flick Chat group, so unfortunately it'll make sense to you guys in the long term. Just trust me on this one and bear with me. As always, we appreciate your patience and support. But look, let's get on to talk about the predictions, and let's get on to talk about the starting 11, shall we, for the game against Atalanta, and then we'll finish with a little bit of transfer talk tonight. How does that sound? When is Chamberlain back? Tony, I've been wondering that myself, mate, and I honestly don't know, buddy. I wish I could give you a date, but I don't know. Simicus is in full training. Yes, I did say that earlier on. It wasn't reported earlier on in the day, but a bit later on it was reported in the media that Costa Simicus was back in full training. So that's brilliant, having him now as an option to give Robbo a rest, although I don't think we're going to see Robbo get much of a rest until the other side, maybe the international break, because there's some difficult games coming up. Obviously, we have a away trip tomorrow in Italy, and then, of course, away against Manchester City at the Etihad on Sunday. Right, Craig, do you think Naby will start against Atalanta? Possibly, Possibly. And again, I'll go through... Look, let's just go through my predicted 11. That'll make it all easier, shall we? Right, so look. Here's my score prediction for tomorrow's game against Atalanta, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, I'm going for a 2-2 draw. And do you know what? There's nothing wrong with going away from home in Europe and getting a 2-2 draw. Are we capable of winning the game? Absolutely. Are Atalanta capable of winning it? Absolutely. I'm expecting a good attacking game tomorrow because Atalanta are very attacking in their style and they aren't backwards about going forward. So I'm expecting this game to be very, very attack minded. So hence the 2-2 scoreline. Could go anyway. Could be 3-1, could be 3-3, could be 4-3, could be anything. I've watched a lot of Atalanta games and they're very enjoyable, and I think we're going to be in for a good evening's entertainment tomorrow when the Reds travel to Italy. So I've gone with a 2-2 with my score prediction, but let me just switch over now and give you guys what I would start with tomorrow in Italy against Atalanta. So here's my predicted 11 for the game tomorrow. Obviously Alisson back in goal. I've got Trent at right back and Robbo at left back. No changes there. Now you might be wondering why I've got Reece Williams back in centre back. The reason is because Nat Phillips isn't part of Liverpool's Champions League squad. At least from the research that I've done, he isn't part of Liverpool's Champions League squad. So that means, unfortunately, he can't be picked. As great as his performance was, and it was a very, very good performance the other day, he can't be picked. So I'm going to go with young Reece Williams to continue his good progression in the Champions League alongside Joe Gomez. Now, if the gaffer feels Matip's ready, of course, sound about Joe Matip starting. But if there's any doubts, again, I'd like to see him kept aside until the Manchester City game. Moving into midfield then, I don't think Thiago will start the game. If he can get 20-25 minutes at the end, maybe to give him a little run before the Manchester City game, that to me would be the ideal scenario. Again, important to understand that there's 5 substitutions allowed in the Champions League games, so that gives the gaffer a lot more scope to work with, and he did say that there'd be quite a large travelling party going over. So my midfield, I've gone for Jordan Henderson, I've gone for Xherdan Shaqiri, who I think has earned himself a start, and I've gone for James Milner on the left-hand side. Shaqiri, for me, unlocking that defence like he did to allow Diogo Jota to score that goal, it was a wonderful pass. I'm not sure if you've seen on the Liverpool website, they've got the player vision of this where you can see through Shaqiri's eyes and what he was seeing at that moment, and to be able to pick out a pass like you did and to affect the game like you did. I told you before, I'm eating humble pie with regards to Shaqiri, but I am more than happy to eat it. So I think Shaqiri deserves to start tomorrow. Then for the front three, I've given Bobby Firmino a rest in my front three. I've gone for Diogo Jota, Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane to play in the game. That's the 11 that I think can go over there and do a job. I know I've predicted a 2-2 draw, but we're more than capable of going over there and getting a win. I'm just being quite respectful to a good Atalanta side. Yes, they were beaten, or they drew, excuse me, they come back to draw 2-2 with Ajax in that game. So again, you can see there's a lot of firepower there when they need it. Ilicic is a fantastic footballer as well. I'm very intrigued by this one. Obviously our first meeting with Atalanta, but it was a club that when Marco Grujic was being looked at, loaned out at one point, Atalanta was a club that Liverpool looked to and the manager looked to for maybe progressing on Marco Grujic and the style of football that their manager plays over there. I know they were very interested in him as well. So obviously somebody who the gaffer holds in high esteem. You heard him speaking in his press conference if you watched it earlier on. Again, just nothing but positive stuff to say about Atalanta, and yeah, that's the 11 for me anyway. The bench tomorrow is going to be interesting to see who makes it. It'll be interesting to see if maybe Matip makes the bench. It'd be interesting to see if Naby Keita is available to start. I mean, if Naby Keita can start in that midfield and maybe give James Milner a rest, or maybe he'll even move Milner to left back to give Robertson a rest and put Naby in midfield. I don't know, there are options there for the gaffer. It is disappointing about Nat Phillips, I have to say, because the level of performance that he did put in probably would have earned him a start in this game. Sky and Jamie Carragher, I believe, gave him man of the match in that game. So again, unfortunately for him, doesn't seem to be in the Champions League squad. So that's what I've gone with, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you're watching this back later on, I'd love to know your score prediction and of course who you think is going to start for the Reds. I think that team can go over there and get a result, and I think Diogo Jota absolutely deserves his starting place. But I'm sure a lot of you guys will have varying opinions as well. Maybe you want Mane or maybe you want Mohamed Salah rested for the game coming up against Manchester City at the weekend. Some people are already calling that one a title decider. I think, look, it's far too early in the season. In previous seasons, particularly the one that we lost to them by one solitary point, the game away against Manchester City did actually prove the title decider. But there's a long way to go right now. And I think if we can go to the Etihad and get a win or a draw, I'll take that every day of the week and then push ahead with the rest of the season. And don't forget, we've had a very difficult start to this season already. We've played Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, we've played Everton away. Who else have we played so far? We've had a very difficult game against Villa. Obviously, we'd have our asses handed to us. We beat West Ham, and we beat a very good Leeds side as well. So, difficult start to the season for Jurgen Klopp's men. The games keep coming thick and fast. We've got a game now tomorrow. Then there's a few days rest, thankfully, until the game on Sunday. And then the lads will head off on one of these ridiculous international breaks that, I don't know, the third one already this season. And we're only into the start of November, ladies and gents. So look, that's my predicted 11. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go read out some of your comments now. And we'll switch back over to the other studio. Can Adrian start for keeping Ali safe from injury? It's very rare that you see a goalkeeper rested to keep him injury free. Now, unless of course Alisson maybe is feeling something in his shoulder, but he doesn't appear to be. And the interview that he was given, I actually loved the interview that he gave where he spoke about the physiotherapy and the doctor telling him 4 to 6 weeks, and he said, no doc, we'll be back in 3 weeks max, 3 or 4 weeks. I love that level of positivity from Ali. Isn't Matip back? He's back training, mate, yes, but again, is he ready to start? If he is, brilliant. If not, any doubts whatsoever, in my humble opinion, just keep him rested up and give him a bit more training ahead of Sunday's game. Red Bull Salzburg sporting director Christoph Freund expects Haaland to eventually join for Liverpool. Yes, I was going to touch on that in the transfer section in a few minutes, mate, so remind me to come back around to that one. Transfer news soon. Yes, buddy, give me 2 minutes to let me just get through a few more comments and then we'll get straight into the transfer news and gossip, I promise you. Reece Williams is going to be a Liverpool legend. At Liverpool, you never walk alone. I love it. I love the fact that we've got 3 good young centre-backs coming through. Reece Williams, obviously, Billy Cometio, Sepp van den Berg, and that's without Nat Phillips, who I think, is Nat Phillips 23 now or 24? Yeah, so it's good. We thought this was a crisis, but as with all these type of things, the manager often tries to look for any positives in a negative situation. And if one of the positives is that we bring through or give an opportunity to Nat Phillips or we see Reece Williams progress, brilliant. I'm all for taking positives wherever we can get them. Alisson gives so much more stability. Never rest him, said Neil Davies. I'm with you, Neil. Never rest him. I can bet Salah and Mane won't start. Fair enough, buddy. I'm more than happy to hear other people's opinion. That's what this is all about. We're here to have a chat. So if you want to put your starting 11 in or what you think will start, I'd be more than happy to read it out, my friend. I want to see Reece Williams start tomorrow night, said Delwyn Jones. He's in my predicted 11, mate. And look, he's played in the first 2 Champions League games, albeit didn't start in either of them. Came on right at the end of the Ajax game. And obviously, when Fabinho picked up the injury, came on early doors in that game. And again, didn't put a foot wrong. Any news on the Fabinho injury? Again, it'll be after the international break. That was always thought to be the case with the Fabinho injury. If anything, the international break probably came with the right time for us for that injury. We should have him back after the international break, all going well. And he won't be going on international duty either with Brazil. Bobby's too important to be left out. No, he's not. It's as simple as that. He isn't, mate. Nobody is too important to be left out. And there's a reason why we... No, excuse... I'm not disagreeing with you for the sake of disagreeing with you, buddy. I'm just saying he's not too important to leave out. I would argue that Diogo Jota has been too good to leave out and that he has taken that shirt from Bobby Firmino at this moment in time. That's just my opinion of it, and I'm one of Bobby's biggest fans, as you know. But Bobby Firmino, for all the good stuff he does do, goal scoring has eluded him a little bit as of late. He did get the rebound from the Sadio Mane header, of course, and I celebrated that as much as everybody else. But to me, I just think Diogo Jota is the man in form, the man full of confidence, the man that looked as soon as he came on the other day, had a goal ruled out and then didn't let his head drop when they got another one. Didn't even have to break stride because of that beautiful pass that Shaqiri laid through to him, and Jota just took it in his stride, sent the keeper the wrong way and bang. So for me, Jota has to start. He just has to, and hopefully continue his good form then to the weekend. And look, there'll be another conversation around who should start at City. Maybe with the press, maybe Bobby Firmino will get the nod there. Maybe we'll see a return to the system of Firmino in attacking midfield position, which didn't really work out, but I think that new tweak to the system didn't work out because we really need Thiago in there to make that work, in my humble opinion. Right, Firmino is behind Jonathan Shaqiri at this moment in time, so Chanzo's the man. Look, even the gaffer was saying that Shaqiri is in a very good moment right now and has put the calf issues, the calf injuries behind him, and the gaffer is delighted about it, which is great. It was good to see the manager today talking up Shaqiri, and I think Shaqiri's deserved it. When he's come on recently, got a great goal in the League Cup, but him and Jota impacted that game massively against West Ham. We looked like we were kind of poking and probing, but without any real impact. These two guys come on and immediately you can see everything changing in the game. Started to open up a bit more. We created more chances, and it was that duo themselves that came up with that beautiful move. Trent run across the box, gave it to Hendo. I think Hendo then knitted it into Shaqiri, who with wonderful vision just rolled that through. And I could talk about that goal forever. I really, really could. As I said, look, with Flick Chat, ladies and gentlemen, I see there's more people coming into the chat now, so again, I'll just say we had to pull the Flick Chat group, but I think you'll understand why in the coming days. We're in conversations, still early conversations with somebody about, you know, something that could push the channel on, but just trust us is all we're asking you to do. We know it's a bit of an inconvenience that Flick Chat isn't there anymore, but there is another option, and if you do want to come over and become a member of Anfield Agenda FC, you will get into the Discord group, which is still live and active, and we're still sharing information in there. All you have to do to join Anfield Agenda FC, click that join button. It's $4.99 a month to become a member. Members get all the loyalty badges you see on screen. You start off with that beautiful bronze one, then it becomes silver, then gold, and eventually red when you're with us for 6 months. You get use of all the custom emojis that you can see on the screen there now that Connor designed for the channel. The Craig's bald head one, the Fuckham, the WFM, the goal, the Klopp, the Salah, the Van Dijk, the Mane, the Blame Connor, the Premier League trophy, the C Signor, the Thiago, and the Craig Woo one as well, the Ric Flair one. Become a member and get into our Discord group, as I said, which is where we do share the little bits and pieces that we get around transfers before anybody else gets them, and we also share stuff in there that we wouldn't share on social media. All you have to do is click that blue join button, folks, to come in there and become a member. Right, doesn't Origi need to play so we can sell him in January? I wouldn't be doing it in this game, mate, to try and put him in a shop window, but that's just my opinion on it. I don't know if Divock could be sold in January either, to be fair, but I would say he's probably 6th or 7th choice right now in the attacking options, but that's just my opinion, of course. Jurgen Klopp could look at that completely differently. Do you think we'll sell Takumi Minamino to BVB? Right, let's move on. Let's have a chat. Let's get into the transfer section so I can answer all these questions. Right, let's start with the Takumi Minamino one that Connor put up on the Instagram account. I don't know where this came from, to be honest with you. I'm still playing catch up on that particular rumour, but no, I don't think that we'll be sending Takumi Minamino to Dortmund and taking a player back in return. I don't think that's going to be the case. It may have been reported somewhere, but as far as I know, that's not going to be the case. Now, somebody else did mention earlier on that the sporting director of Salzburg has come out and said he fully expects Erling Haaland to end up at Liverpool, and he has said that. I have read the articles that have pointed that out. Not saying that this guy knows Erling Haaland's career progression. I'm not saying that there's an agreement in place between Liverpool and Dortmund. I've no idea, but it is very strange to see the Salzburg chief executive or sporting director, I'm not sure which one it was, come out and say that. And he did come out and say that, word for word pretty much. I think he said land at Liverpool, something along those lines. Look, would we like Erling Haaland? Of course we would. Any club in Europe would like that young man. If he ends up at Liverpool someday, I think we'll get a very special player. But I also don't think there'll be any shortage of clubs looking to sign that young man. Now, of course, you guys have informed me, which is why I love this so much, that there's a release clause in this contract that I think could be triggered next summer or something like that. And I wasn't aware of this, genuinely. Now, we are going to have Jan Age Fjortoft on later on in the month to have a conversation around transfer news and gossips. And of course, I'll be asking him being a fellow Norwegian, about Erling Haaland. He was the one who told us in the last interview that it was always young Haaland's dream to go and play in the Bundesliga since he was a child. Obviously, growing up, that was the league he was watching, even though his father, of course, had played over in the UK. So he's living the dream at the minute, but dreams progress, dreams move on, and as good as Dortmund are, he may want to further his career at some point. In fact, I'm almost sure he'll want to further his career at some point. And if that ends up at Liverpool, we'll all be very, very happy about it, won't we? I almost fell off my chair when I read it, to be honest with you, to come out with that statement. It's going to cause Liverpool fans to go into meltdown, and I can understand why, because it's got me excited, and I'm not usually that excitable over little snippets like that, but we can put him in the hashtag 2021 as well. What's the latest on Ozan Kabak, said Ali Khan. Thank you, Ali, for the question. From what I've read, the club are shocked at the links to Ozan Kabak, and I think the Echo put out something to say Anfield insiders are scratching their head or something like that. They think it's more an agent trying to drum up interest in the player. Recently, I've also seen AC Milan being linked to Ozan Kabak. Now, I've never really heard of Kabak before the links to Liverpool started, but soon after those links, he did, of course, receive that 5-match ban for a spitting incident. Now, that immediately would ring alarm bells in my mind, because it doesn't seem like the type of personality or mentality that Jurgen Klopp would want to bring into Liverpool. But as I said, I really do not know too much about Ozan Kabak, but from what I've read and from the people that I've spoken to, there doesn't really seem to be much interest with regards to Kabak, so I don't think he'll be coming to Liverpool, in my opinion, but things could change. Another one who I don't think will be coming to Liverpool is David Alaba, and let me explain why. So Christian Falk of Bild has reported there are 3 clubs that have registered concrete interest in signing David Alaba. Those 3 clubs are Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester City and Juventus. He goes on a little bit further though, and he goes on to say that the player himself wants to move to Spain, and ideally he wants to move to Barcelona or to Real Madrid. I know that's not the news that a lot of people will want to hear, but if we really think this true, it makes sense. Yes, David Alaba, there's nobody denying, quality player, can play in a number of positions, would be fantastic to bring in. There's talk around his wages, there's talk about a signing on fee. But then long term, he's not really the answer. The answer would be to push forward your summer transfer plans to January and go and get the player that you really, really want. Because if we wanted David Alaba that badly, we could have probably gotten him in the summer. Same time we got Thiago. Because Bayern Munich are in a position now where Alaba's running his contract down. If they don't sell him on for a few quid in January, he can sign a pre-contract with anybody outside of Germany and leave at the end of the season for nothing. So maybe that's where you'll see the interest. I mean, I've often said to you guys, I think Juventus are the masters of the free signing. They've pulled off some real fantastic ones over the years. So for me, unfortunately, I don't think David Alaba will be ending up with a Liverpool shirt on his back anytime soon. A couple of other players, and one that you guys pointed out from the thumbnail tonight, is Per SCHUURS. Now, on this, the Mirror believe that the Reds are monitoring the Ajax defender Per SCHUURS as a possible signing. The 20-year-old did have a trial, interestingly enough, at Liverpool when he was 17, but it was thought best to leave him in Holland for his progression, and obviously he went on. He played somewhere else before Ajax, maybe it was Willem II or Fortuna Sittard or one of the other Dutch clubs, and then moved on obviously to Ajax. Now, I've seen people in the chat saying Mane destroyed him, he's not good, nowhere near good enough, we have better at the club. I'm not disagreeing with any of you because I don't know anything about the kid. I don't know. Until his name was mentioned and we played Ajax, I didn't keep any track on Per SCHUURS. So again, if it's somebody that Liverpool have had at the club, it's not at all unusual that they've continued to monitor the kid. They had him on a trial, as I said, at 17 years of age, and it was decided that it was in his best interests to go back to Holland, get some more first team experience, progress on, hence the reason he's at Ajax right now. So if anybody in the chat has watched more of this young gentleman than I have, I'd love to know your take on it as well. I can see people talking about Jules Koundé as well of Sevilla in the chat, somebody who I think is again a very good defender, but somebody who I don't think Sevilla are going to want to lose, particularly mid-season. He was linked with Manchester City before they went out and signed a different centre-back in the summer, and somebody who I think would probably command a rather hefty fee. I still think the ones that we will most likely be looking at will be Dayot Upamecano, Ben White. I've given you another name in Pau Torres, who's somebody I think that Liverpool should probably be looking at. But there's another player that we've been linked with, not in the centre-back position. So this comes from Team Talk, and they've reported that Liverpool are one of a number of Premier League clubs monitoring Reading's 18-year-old winger, Michael Olise, who was mentioned as one of the best prospects, if not the best prospect, outside of the Premier League. He's got about 18 months remaining on his Reading contract as things stand, and this could be a situation to keep an eye on. Again, Not going to claim that I watch much of Reading, but now that obviously that we've seen the Liverpool link, I will start having a little look at the kid. I know Reading had a very good start to the championship campaign. I think they lost their unbeaten record yesterday or over the weekend at some point. So again, lots of names being floated around, ladies and gentlemen, but as always, it's hard to pick through the bones and know where there is concrete interest and where there isn't. But that Houlden thing really has just thrown me for a loop. What do you guys think about it? And what transfers have you seen? What would you like to see Liverpool do? What centre-back would you like to see us bring in? Upamecano has to be the one that's top of people's list. And look, you can push aside the fact that Leipzig had their asses handed to them by United. That happens. We had our asses handed to us by Aston Villa. Does not mean that we're a poor side, or does not mean that we've got poor defenders. It just means they had an off day, or United had a particularly good day. I don't know. I didn't watch that game. But Upamecano, to me, is the calibre of footballer we should be looking at. Already an international, 21 years of age, or at least will be 21 years of age by the end of the season. Has a buyout clause next summer of 40 million quid. Again, we've spoken about this numerous times. If Michael Edwards can do the Michael Edwards magic, whatever it is he does, and maybe a little few quid on top to get him out earlier in January, so be it. I also like Ben White of Brighton. I've said that numerous times on the channel as well. Or we could see a player come in that none of us have spoken about. We've been wrong many times. All of us, media, YouTube channels, newspapers, everyone. We've all been wrong about transfers with Liverpool because we've kept things very quiet. Nobody had a sniff about Fabinho. Nobody had a sniff about Diogo Jota. And this could be another one of those situations where we're all talking about players and then Liverpool go out, bing bang bosh, players in. We're all sitting here scratching our heads going, how did that happen? But we'll probably also be saying, whoever it is, that's the right signing. Because when Diogo Jota and Fabinho were announced, can't speak for everybody, but I was certainly sitting here going, oh, yes, we'll take those, please. Excellent pieces of business. What have we got? Cam Vlog said Kabak. I've already gone through Kabak, mate, and from everything and people I've spoken to about this, they're genuinely baffled as to where the talk has come from. There was an easy link there when David Wagner was still managing Schalke. Maybe there was a conversation between himself and Kloppo. Maybe Kabak's name was brought up. I haven't got a clue. Maybe it is the agent, like some people suspect, trying to talk up a move for his player. AC Milan, as I said to you guys, recently linked to him as well. Do I think Thiago was a bargain? Absolutely, Ali. Absolutely. I know it's been a bit stop-start, obviously, to his Anfield career, but to sign somebody at the peak of his powers at 29 years of age like that for 5 million a season, basically, with 5 million in potential add-ons, so £25 million, an absolute bargain. And look, it was to do with his contract situation, of course, but being able to attract that calibre of footballer and him wanting to come to Liverpool, I think it speaks volumes of where the club are at right now. Haaland and Virgil celebrating together would look so funny, said Ragger Tom. Jordan Henderson has made the most forward passes this season with 25 and people call him overrated. I mean, I don't know that making forward passes really says anything about anybody. I mean, it'll probably stop the sideways and backwards merchants that are out there trying to slag off Hendo, but I mean, Jordan Henderson does so much in a game of football, mate, that anyone who underrates him, I just don't think understands the sport very well. Haaland will be a corner threat as well. Yes, and more height would be great, especially from set pieces. Leeds scored 2-1. Who scored for Leeds? Can somebody let me know that one? Get Upamecano in the summer. Sell Matip. We cannot have injury prone players right now. So many games close to each other. We've already VVD out for the season. Gomez and Matip easily injured. Need consistency. I don't disagree with selling Joel Matip, mate, down the line. I think, again, the oldest of our centre-backs that are left at the club right now. Signed a new contract recently enough, but I can't argue with you. His career at Liverpool has been blighted, unfortunately, by spells of injury. But when he does play, he does bring a calmness and reassuredness. Is that even the word? Reassuredness? I don't know. He does bring a calmness to the defence, and I quite like having him at the club. And I don't know how much we get from him at the age he's at as well. Stuart Dallas scored. Thank you for that one, mate. Will Phillips play against Manchester City? I don't think so. I think we'll probably have Joel Matip back for that game. So I would expect maybe Joel Matip and Joe Gomez to start that game. But, you know, I'm not going to second guess the gaffer because we've all been wrong on many occasions. How am I? I'm very good, thank you. Very good. Reassurance, there you go. I mean, just, yeah, you know me, words all over the shop. So sometimes brain doesn't click into gear. And it's very difficult as well when you're doing live content and your head's going 100 miles an hour and you have so much stuff that you want to get out. You're trying to time the rhythm of your speech and stuff as well. It's quite difficult doing the old live content, but I don't mind messing up from time to time. It's all part of the fun, isn't it? Do you think we'll win the league? I do, Rory. I do. Honestly, mate. I'm not thinking we're going to win it by anywhere near the margin that we did last season. But to me, I think it's still Liverpool and Manchester City. And I think that we will hopefully be more consistent throughout the season. I think it's going to be a far more competitive league. People who were writing off Spurs just 2 or 3 weeks ago are now talking up Spurs as potential title candidates. And then you've always got your surprise teams as well that will come in and have a very good run. So let's just wait and see how the season pans out. But whatever happens, I think we will be there or thereabouts at the end of the season, even with a season without Virgil van Dijk, which is looking like we're going to have. If we get him back for a few games towards the end of the season or even earlier, brilliant. That's a great bonus. And it was great news to hear that his operation went well. And of course, we wish him full and speedy as possible recovery. I just subscribe. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. As you can see, we've gone over 56,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. That means the world to us, so thank you very much. If you are enjoying this stream, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the stream as well. It only takes a second to drop a like, even if you've already subscribed. But I'd love to know your thoughts on the Tony Cascarino situation as well. So for those that weren't here earlier on, I touched on this. Tony Cascarino said in an article, I think it was in the Times, Mohamed Salah's dive was an insult to Nobby Stiles and the game he loved. So much wrong with that statement, but I've had my say on it and I'm not going to go off on a second rant about it. Genuinely, anyone who's read the article or knows who Cascarino is, I would love to know your thoughts on this one, please, because I want to know if I'm reading this wrong or if people have similar thoughts. What else we got? I'd say 2-3 to Liverpool, a Jota late goal. That'll do me, man. That'll do me. An entertaining game, 5 goals and a Liverpool win. I'll take that. Craig, do you think Gnabry would fit in well? I'm being pleasantly surprised by Serge Gnabry's resurgence, shall we say. To go from playing under Tony Pulis at one point and not doing too well to be winning the Champions League and playing a starring role in that with Bayern Munich just says a lot about the young man. I don't think Bayern will let him go. They're building a young team there. They're almost in transition at the minute, but yet still winning Champions Leagues. I think he should be left and probably will stay where he is because it looks like he's found somewhere where he's comfortable and getting the best out of himself. And yeah, there you go. WFM, Danny Dog. WFM indeed. A lot of people still asking us what WFM means, by the way. We will be putting it out there on a few more t-shirts and hoodies, by the way, when things get going. But yeah, if you're new to the channel and you don't know what we mean when we say WFM, bit of bad language coming up here, so bear with me. It means we're fucking massive. That's pretty much it. And by that, when we say that, we don't mean the channel. We mean the community. We mean Reds pulling together and coming together from all around the world. As a collective, we're fucking massive. That's what it means. Do you think Liverpool can go in for the Champions League this season, even without Virgil van Dijk? But we do have some key players coming back from injury, which is good. It's, again, Sam, the Champions League, buddy, is such a difficult competition to win. It's always a very open competition as well. So whatever happens, I think, again, we'll go deep. I mean, last season it was so disappointing when we seen that mini little tournament being played there to finish off the Champions League that we weren't part of it because of, obviously, the being knocked out by Atletico. So, yeah, I expect us to go deep in it this year, mate. But, as always, there's probably 4, 5, 6 teams capable of going and winning the Champions League. So, I hope we go far. I hope that we can go out there and add another Champions League trophy to the pile that we already have of 6. Would I buy another Champions League trophy then? Would I buy 70? Or would I just rename the other one? I don't know. Probably just rename the other one. Hello from Papua New Guinea. How are you, Ishan? Thank you very much for being with us. Wow, Papua New Guinea. That I think that is a new one. I think that is a new one, actually. Yes, nice one, mate. Well in. Let's go, Craig, looking dapper today. It's just... It's really weird. People are so used to me looking like a complete chav that when I even throw on a polo shirt, they're like, oh, looking dapper. Thank you. I'll take it. But it's just an Adidas polo shirt, mate. Nothing too special. January signings would help Champions League chances. Yes, they would, mate. No doubt about it. I think Bayern will win it again, said Rodgers. They'll definitely be in the conversation, mate. They are they're a phenomenal team. I mean, I'd love us to play Bayern Munich over 2 legs. I think that would be amazing. I really do. Obviously, you'd want the second leg at Anfield, and obviously you'd hope it's later in the tournament when maybe we can get some fans back inside stadiums. But yeah, that will be class. As always, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting 30 minutes beforehand. So our match coverage will start at 7:30 tomorrow ahead of the Atalanta game. And for our second channel, Mundo Sporto, which is so close to hitting 2,000 subscribers. If you haven't yet subscribed to Mundo Sporto, please have a look in the description of this stream and you'll see a link there to our second channel. We'd love you to go over there and subscribe to that. This week's game is going to be on Wednesday, and I'm going to be doing a watch-along of Leipzig against Paris Saint-Germain over on our second channel, Mundo Sporto. So, again, we'd love to see you over there for that one. From Thursday onwards, then, we're going to be doing nothing but looking ahead to the Reds' trip to the Etihad to take on Manchester City. And we hope to be able to announce some good news with regards to the channel as the week progresses as well. There's a reason why the Flick group has been pulled. I hope that becomes apparent as the week goes on, but I have to keep my lips sealed as of this moment in time. But, you know, we always do everything for a reason, and we always have your best intentions at hand. Or in mind, I should say, excuse me. And if you want to keep in contact with us when we're offline, you can become a member of Anfield Agenda FC and join our Discord group. It's $4.99 a month. Again, all you have to do is click the join button and you get all the things you see there on the screen now. The loyalty badges, the emojis. You get access to our Discord group. And look, anybody who's in the Discord group will let you know we genuinely do say stuff in there that I won't say elsewhere. We've broken the team news in there a few hours before kickoff on a couple of occasions. We've given some transfer information that we haven't put out there in the media or in public. Stuff that I wouldn't be 100% on, but that, you know, I believe that there are some truth to. That's the type of stuff. And of course, we also help you, or ask you guys to help us shape the future of the channel with regards to type of content you like to see and that type of stuff as well. Oh, I feel absolutely exhausted, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I've spoken non-stop there for about 45 minutes. What are your opinions on how James Milner will end his career at Liverpool? Well, whenever James Milner chooses to end his career, whether he moves on and maybe goes to Leeds or elsewhere, he will be a legend to me. James Milner, I mean, what a free signing he was. I know free signing isn't really a free signing anymore, but to bring him in that late in his career, to see the level of professionalism, the level of winning mentality, and the way he closes out games or helps us to close out games, I can't speak highly enough of James Milner. He is a model professional, and what a career he'll have. Now he's got the full collection of medals as well, which is great. Obviously he didn't have a Champions League medal before he came to the Reds and went over there and won that. Carl's in the chat. How are you, Carl? Ken Coastal Holiday Let's. Lovely to see you, buddy. I'd love a trip to Anfield as a Plymouth fan, said Cam Vlogs. Mate, I'd love a trip back over to Anfield at this point. I was supposed to go over 2 weeks after the ban came in last year, 2 weeks after the season was halted. I had tickets for the Villa game that I was looking forward. Had everything booked, flights booked with Connor, hotel, everything sorted. But unfortunately, no, can't get over. And look, we'd all love to be inside Anfield at this moment in time. What do you think the problem is with Firmino? I genuinely don't know, mate. Players go through little patches like that, and it's up to us to stay behind Bobby and let him know that we have his back. And I'm sure the players will be doing the same on the training pitch. And Bobby's magic. We know he is, and maybe it's a little bit of confidence. I don't know, but as soon as he gets that spark back again, we'll be all singing the Firmino song, and I hope that's very soon, because you know I love Bobby Firmino. Just subbed on Mundo Sporto, said Sam Conroy. Really appreciate that, buddy. Bit off topic, but Messi or Ronaldo? I'm always team Messi, mate. Always. I had tickets booked against City away. Ooh, that would have been a belter as well, mate. I feel you. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call that one a night. I will be back tomorrow for a watch-along of the Reds' trip to Atalanta. We'll be doing a post-match show on that one as well, so make sure you've got your notifications turned on. Again, if you're watching this back later on, I'd love to know your thoughts on the things that we spoke about tonight. The Tony Cascarino situation, the transfer situation, the start and predicted 11 for the game tomorrow against Atalanta as well. As always, folks, I hope you guys stay safe. I hope that you're well. I hope all of your families are well. And nothing but love to each and every one of you. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications, drop a like on the stream.